What's going on, everybody? Super excited to be doing an interview with Hakan here, who's the co-founder of BEVM, blockchain that we all love, Bitcoin, and how we want to bring more utility to it. Hakan, thank you so much for joining me and just having an honest conversation about what's going on in the space.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. So my name is Hakan, one of the co-founders of BEVM, an EVM-compatible Bitcoin Layer 2 that is specifically focusing on the tokenization of hash rate, mostly POW hash rate, and bringing into DeFi and bringing liquidity at the high level target. So yeah, a lot of interesting happening. We're basically at Bitcoin 2024 conference organized by Bitcoin Magazine, which is also one of our investors.
So wait, they invested in you guys?
Yes, they did.
That's awesome.
So, and we're the only Bitcoin L2 that is invested by the largest mining company and BTC player Bitmain. They're also exhibiting here with the title sponsor. Yeah, I mean, we, with the debut of ordinals runes, basically, we have started to hear more about Bitcoin ecosystem because we have always considered Bitcoin as an asset.
Right.
So far till last year, I would say. But after the debut of ordinals runes, we have a big shout out to Casey for creating all this and giving it the opportunity. So basically, we have proven that we can inscribe data into these NFTs, right?
Yeah.
And that was just a start of what's coming.
So if we can do all these things with Bitcoin, why do we need a Bitcoin L2?
Okay, that's a good question. I will approach it from a mining perspective. So based on the research that has been done, they estimate that there is 8 to 10 years of runway for mining in terms of the incentives, incentivizing miners to continue securing the network, because they're the people basically doing these old things and security of, guaranteeing the security of Bitcoin network. So we have to find an alternative way, create incentives, and make them continue, securing the network in the coming years. So I would say maybe 10 years, the Bitcoin price will go high, but at the same time, competition is going to get harder. So we need to consider that. And
emissions are going to also drop. So like everything gets cut down.
And then I think L2s are necessary. And another reason is Bitcoin itself is basically not meant to be for complicated applications, smart contracts. It's just peer-to-peer payment system. So it's not programmable, block space, timing latency, and etc. So we're basically building layer 2 where you can scale, make it more functionable through smart contracts. Whatever you see on Ethereum side, like different smart contract applications, different protocols are now basically possible on BEVM and some other chains as well. So we're basically scaling it, making it more functionable, where people can build on the top, utilizing the Bitcoin security, which is the most secure network in the blockchain space, and then the most liquid asset, which is Bitcoin itself, $1.4 trillion, and we want to make use of it.
I love the numbers. Don't get me wrong, but isn't there like a lot of competition now when it comes to L2s on Bitcoin? I feel like everybody's trying to come out with one.
There are actually 100 plus L2s that came out recently for the past a year and a half. Most of them actually with the hype, which is quite normal. And I personally know there's another 100 plus L2s that are on a stealth mode that are coming slowly but surely, which is good because each of them is approaching from a different perspectives, bringing different solution. Roll-ups, side chains, L2s, BitVM, whatever you call it, whatever you name it, whatever technology you have it. It's good to see a lot of developers basically moving to Bitcoin space, which we lacked before. So there is basically there are millions of developers on Ethereum side and tens of thousands of protocols that have been running up until now. And when it comes to Bitcoin ecosystem, we were not even talking about using this word, Bitcoin ecosystem, only Bitcoin as an asset.
Right.
And now basically we're now building a lot of stuff in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love seeing the progress that Bitcoin has made. But again, I don't want to get you in trouble. Why EVM? Like Solidity, is that really what we want to do with Bitcoin?
No, this is not the end goal, but that's just a start because there's a maturity on the Ethereum side. Again, as I said, like tens of thousands of protocols that are already have been running up until now. There's a maturity there. There have been a lot of things have been tested out, and then millions of users. So we cannot just ignore it, right? At the very beginning, we need users to come and be part of that, joining the army. But we're building at the end of the day for communities, right? For people that are believing in the future of Bitcoin and building something that is the most secure, the most liquid, and that's why we made it EVM compatible. But this is just the beginning, as I said. We already have all the protocols, applications that Ethereum has, but we are at the same time supporting both financially and technically the Bitcoin native approaches. It was just in a panel discussion, and they were just asking, "Are we waiting for a killer app?" I was just saying, or quoting the founder of Babylon. He said, "We're waiting for iPhone of Bitcoin ecosystem." So I think he's right. But what this killer app is going to be is a question mark. So,
are you that killer app?
Well, yeah, probably yes. That's what we believe, and hopefully. But again, so we basically allocated a huge amount of fund to support financially and technically those projects that have creative ideas to come and solve some of the hurdles that we have been facing, on the Bitcoin side. And we have basically received a lot of applications. Really happy with the interest of those people, developers, to come and move to Bitcoin side and then build something with real use cases. And what we do, or what differentiates us from other chains, as BEVM, other than the some of the technical parts. I can basically briefly maybe mention, talk about this as well.
Yeah.
We have been building Bitcoin L2 since 2018.
Wow.
Back at time, we were one of the earliest basically Bitcoin L2 called ChainX. We had 100,000 Bitcoin deposited, 100,000 pieces Bitcoin deposited on chain. But because of the regulations back in China, I was located in China together with other colleagues. We had to stop the bridge. And together with the Taproot upgrade in 2021, we launched BEVM because after Taproot, you have basically a lot of things where it just facilitated, made it more functional and also scalable. I would say more private. In terms of privacy, we have seen a lot of good things as well. And then that made possible ordinals and runes to come out as well.
Right.
So, and then based on this, a few technical elements that were introduced through Taproot upgrade, we just combined them and then kind of made a mechanism named as Taproot consensus, which is basically without relying on third party. Everything is happening basically in a decentralized manner, bridging, from Bitcoin network to L2, in this case BEVM, and the other way around. And another thing that's what makes us different is basically our partnership with miners, in particular with Bitmain, Antpool, Bitfufu, and the rest of the basically big companies that are sitting on the top of huge amount of Bitcoin, and at the same time, daily produces really good amount, big amount of Bitcoin hash rate. Not only Bitcoin, but other POW, Litecoin, which is merge mined together with Dogecoin, Ethereum Classic, and Caspen, etc.
Bells.
Yeah, and Bells. Yes, yeah, that's good. So overall, the market is $20 billion on a yearly basis that are being basically mined. And why not basically utilizing and making use of it? Our end goal, whomever you ask, any L2s, they basically are going to be complaining from the same thing, and which is liquidity. So basically, when we see Solana users in Solana, Ethereum, when they come to Ethereum as a Bitcoin side, they don't have the same experience that they have in their native chain.
Right.
So because of the lack of liquidity, they cannot do any most of the DeFi activities that they want as one. So that's actually something we're tokenizing those hash rate of those mining companies, and basically both creating cash flow for their daily operation at the same time, making basically it possible for users to use those tokens, which are the direct representation of Bitcoin, in DeFi protocols that they're basically using something the most stable, and that has really promising future. So that's actually what we do, and we're bringing this liquidity into L2, which is in favor of the whole space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
that's pretty awesome. So we saw, talking about EVM, Base has been doing phenomenal. And I think one of the reasons is that they're not trying to launch a token. They're not doing any of that. You're transacting with Ethereum. And I think that's the way you're doing it too, right? You're not asking people to just, we're going to launch a token. We're going to go ahead and essentially extract liquidity from the market and you got to use our token. That's not how you're operating.
It's not. Actually, we don't have BEVM token yet, the platform token yet. It will be, probably TG is going to be next year. But we are using Bitcoin as gas, so which is really important. That's in favor of, basically, that's a very big contribution, by the way, to the mining space, because I'm not sure if you know some of the statistics. After the Runes protocol, basically after it came out, for the first time, an alternative, like let's say rewards, that surpassed the mining revenue itself. Like it was $70 billion something dollars.
Yeah, no, the fees were just going crazy.
And we have to find a way, as long as the people are asking, okay, that's a hype. So what is going to be like after 3-5 years? Do you see yourself still in the space? Is it like similar to NFTs, metaverses with disappeared almost? It's not. We have to exist for the sake of Bitcoin. If you want Bitcoin to be here, to be around, to be as secure as now, then we need L2s. We need side chains, which are using mostly Bitcoin, as gas, and then doing a lot of stuff, basically creating more alternative ways to incentivize miners to continue mining.
No, absolutely. I mean, I love the incentives. A lot of maxis are like, we don't want any of this stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I want to mine forever. I can't mine forever if if the rewards stop being emitted. Like, I need those fees. I need those fees.
Absolutely.
So I love that. But with power comes great responsibility. How are you managing to bring people over and actually do that? Like, what is it that's going to create the fees on your L2?
Basically, there are a lot of protocols that are on the top of BEVM. So each step, and a lot of users, basically we have allocated good amount of allocation. Basically, we have good amount of allocation to incentivize also regular users that are basically like either they want to do something with using Bitcoin, not like any others, because there are a particular group of people they really are interested and they're coming only for Bitcoin.
Right.
They're like, you can call them Bitcoin maxi, you can call them Bitcoin believers, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. But what unites us is actually Bitcoin itself, which is really good.
Great.
So, and since they have a very big belief in the future of Bitcoin, they're basically eager to do anything possible. Like, we're trying to now create a whole ecosystem where you can do DeFi using utilizing using the tokens that are direct representation of Bitcoin, in this case, like tokenization of hash rate, and then gamifying it, like making it fun, where they can really have the pleasure of both having yield on their assets, at the same time making something fun. I mean, one of the slogans is actually making Bitcoin fun again. So yeah, making Bitcoin great again, but in order to make it great, I think we need to find ways to attract more users, and I think one of the best ways is gamifying it. So now we're talking to a lot of different gaming platforms. I was just talking before this interview. They're also super interested in, they're basically considering moving to another chain or building something from scratch for Bitcoiners, so Bitcoin believers. And then I think that's something that makes us really excited.
Yeah, I mean, talk about transactions. Gamifying always works when it comes to transaction. It always pumps those. So what kind of fun devs are you looking for? What kind of builders do you want to bring over to BEVM? Like, who's your ideal target, I guess?
Actually, we don't have limitation for that. We allocated $60 million worth of grant, it's fund. So basically, it's still open. I mean, if there are any, if you guys are interested in being part of that, the application is still open. You can come and apply. There are like over 200 different projects apply for that, and 60 of them already basically deployed on BEVM. And that will basically increase in the coming days. Our team is synchronizing it and supporting in any way. It's not only financial, but technical as well, because there are a lot of developers that are not coming from anywhere. They're just, either like graduated, but they have really good idea. They don't have any experience with managing the team, like doing promotional stuff, marketing, whatever. And then on the other hand, there are founders of different projects on Ethereum side, like Arbitrum, whatever, and they want to do something in Bitcoin side. So we support them as well, but the first one is our preference they're coming with creative ideas,
Yeah.
so to solve, not like just to come and try, but really real solutions. Since they believe in the future of Bitcoin. So in this case, we're supporting them from marketing perspective, and giving them also good ideas where they can easily build. At least kind of there are going to be barriers in front of them. So how can we leave those barriers and continue our way? I mean, at the end of the day, our goal is the same. And if there's anyone interested in that, so basically, here's the fund. You can come and benefit from that, and our team is ready to help in any way that we can. There is no like specific area that we're focusing. Actually, like ideally, or definitely RWA is one of the hotly debated topics, and what we believe is going to be the future. Basically making everything liquid, right?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, for DeFi, we're basically looking for developers to come and build some good protocols like lending, borrowing, DEXs. And also gamifying it, I think, is a very important part of that. So I think everyone recently have heard about like Telegram games, where you can use like Telegram bots and play, easy to onboard. Like if you're to onboard next billion users, and I think games have really importance here, a lot of importance here, because like making it fun, easy. But here, the important thing is here, we need to solve a few problems. The first thing, interoperability, because I always depict it as a city. Each basically layer 2 is a different persona. We cannot talk to one another, right? Like breaching and etc. Yeah. Another thing is user experience. How can we make people who really don't have any blockchain background, make them use our DeFi protocols without them knowing that they're using blockchain? So like interfaces, whatever like user experience you need. I think as long as we don't solve this, it's hard to basically achieve this target, which is onboarding next billion. And I think we're working hard for that. If there are any people interested out there to come, bring different solutions to this, here we are.
Fun little thing. If y'all know JavaScript, Solidity is like a hop and a skip. Like you can learn it in like 2 weeks. You're ready to go. Yeah. I haven't had to code, thankfully, for a long time, but that's like my experience. I was like, I know this. Going back?
Yeah.
It would take some money.
Oh yeah.
I'll just say that. It would take some money for me to go back into it, just because I love it for my downtime. Like it's something I do as my pastime, not something that I can do day in, day out, Like,
but once you live once time, so it's hard to get back, right? Basically, you're...
Yeah, like I'm the guy that...
You feel like alienated? I don't know, like...
No, not really. Like you can give me code right now, I'll debug it all day long and have fun with it. But like going into work and say, this is what I have to do, this is my job, not so much. I'd much rather have wonderful conversations with people like you.
Appreciate it. I mean, I'm not a tech person. I'm not writing codes. I'm mostly like on the operation side, marketing, branding, ecosystem, basically building, bringing relevant people together. What makes me excited? I don't like sitting, but I definitely respect people who are doing that. I'm a person of field, being in the field, talking to people, and bringing them together, brainstorming on those particular areas which are like hurdles of our space. So that's what I do. And but yeah.
Ultimately, it's all about people. Like it doesn't matter what kind of tech you're talking about. You need people to use it. And if you focus on the people, other things always end up lining up. So like you have one of the most important jobs, even if you don't touch a line of code, because you can code all day long, you can build it, but they won't come. They're just not going to come. If they don't know what it is, they don't know it even exists, it's just not going to happen.
I always give the same example. You may have the best product, best tech, whatever, like the largest treasury, but as long as people do not know it, do not come and use it, what is the meaning? So at the end of the day, your target is the end user, right? Come and using it.
Bingo.
Yeah, that's definitely an important part of that.
So like I'll tell you, like the people that are winning in this space right now are the ones that can bridge the gap between the tech and the normies. Just basically like, guys, let me show you how cool this thing is. Like influencers that do really well, they're actually knowledgeable. They understand the tech, and they're able to bridge the gap and bring those users over. So your position, what you're doing for a BEVM is so important, and like without doubt, without it, projects fail. They absolutely do.
Appreciate it. I mean, very excited for the coming months, years. I mean, Bitcoin 2049 already. 2024 already proved that. We have seen, I think there are over like 20,000 people registered for that. And it looks like more than that, by the way.
It does.
And then we see like president candidates like Kennedy, Trump. Today I think he was talking, and Trump is coming tomorrow, which didn't happen before, for the first time.
Vivek was
and
here.
Crazy amount of people,
Snowden.
definitely.
Wild.
And there were a lot of people, non-Bitcoin people, that came here with the hype. Okay, like something going on here. The whole world is talking now, talking about it. So let me go and at least take a look at this. Yeah, we need these people because this is a chance, an opportunity to convince them. Give them because creating awareness is the most important part of it. As long as there's no people knowing it, you have the best tech, you have the best devs. So what is the meaning of that? So at the end of the day, we are doing this for the humanity, right? For people to come and use it.
Now here's a fun question. Why? Not why BEVM. Why are you working on BEVM?
I have, there is a long story for that, but making it shorter. So I have basically, I entered the space, with Bitcoin because I was doing trading back in 2016, doing import and export in China. It's a super restricted country.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful, but unfortunately, there are a lot of restrictions, and I couldn't even send my own money that I was working because I was legally working to another account of my own, and which is in Turkey, and I was ready to pay huge amount of fees for that, but it took me more than 2 weeks. Crazy. It was only $5,000. I remember every single detail.
Wow.
And then it took me 2 weeks, and then I had to go. I was called by the bank and asked to write down kind of petition, reasons why I'm sending it, my own money to another account of mine on. So that was crazy, and I faced a lot of similar things, and I couldn't do basically my work because customers wouldn't wait for this, right? I had to make payments and etc. So that actually made me search for alternative ways. And then I bumped into Bitcoin white paper. At that time, there was definitely, I read it, but it was not easy to understand it because too much technical things. And then after this, slowly, I traded it, tried to understand it, then basically I found myself as a builder, and together with other colleagues that have the same mission. So why not making it for daily using? I think there's something that Lightning Network is focusing on, mostly payment, scaling it in that way. So we're both scaling it and making it more functional, where there are smart contracts running up and then making it easier for people to use on a daily basis. Yeah. So that's also one of the reasons why I'm here.
So it's personal.
BEVM,
It's personal.
It is, I think.
I love it. No, that's business is great, but when it gets personal, which is personal for me as well, I think that's when our hearts and soul are really into it, and we want to make things work. We want to see things actually go to the next level. What's your call to action? What are you telling people? Where do they go to find you guys? What can they do with the BEVM chain? If you want to let people know, I think this would be the perfect time.
Absolutely. We're not asking them to trade, buy anything. So I think the first thing is, if you are kind of newbie that have much background but are interested in, you should definitely follow us on Twitter, where we post really good and quality content. We do Twitter Space event where you can come and listen, and do a lot of podcasts just like we're doing now, where we share our ideas and exchanging ideas, on particular things that would be interesting for you. And also, if you want to be part of our community, because we converted our community into DAO, which is basically, community is the one that is making the decision. It's not us. I'm the co-founder, but I don't have much saying. So as long as community says this way, they vote for that, there you go. And if you want to be that community, that DAO, which is the abbreviation of Decentralized Autonomous Organization, you can come to our Discord, and then basically doing simple contribution. You can both be qualified for our future airdrop opportunities, right? BEVM token, and at the same time, you can learn with us. You can build with us, and I think there are a lot of interesting stuff that we are planning in the coming months and years. So there are a lot of opportunities. You follow us on Twitter. You can basically go into our Discord and then communicate with us, ask your questions if you have any, and then we'll be actively posting about all the events that we organize, both offline and online. Those are the ways I think we can be in touch.
What's the Twitter handle? How do they find you?
BTC Layer 2. That's actually another fun stuff, because we're the first one, first Layer 2. We didn't come with the hype. That's a proof. You can go and BTC Layer 2. That's our Twitter handle. You'll see it. BEVM.
Thank you so much for your time. This is a great conversation. Hopefully we can touch base again. I know you said 2049, so I'm guessing you're going to be at Token 2049?
Absolutely. That's
beautiful.
Because I was talking whole day, Token 20, Token. You were organizing the largest event, and you're welcome to be part of that.
I'm glad. I'm glad. We'll get more in depth when we get to Singapore. So definitely set up for a second conversation.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around, listening in, and learning about what's going on in Bitcoin and Bitcoin L2s. Hakan, you're the man. Honestly, appreciate your time. Thanks for letting us know what's going on and building, because ultimately, that's what we need. More builders making cool stuff and making this network just get to the next level. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a hive.
No, we do not understand. That we do not
Ladies and gentlemen.
Rebecca's Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.